Welcome, dear listeners, to the Unknown Chronicles, where the line between the real and the unreal is perilously thin. I am your guide, Thorne Bloodrose, here to lead you through the dark corridors of mystery, fear, and the inexplicable. Tonight we unravel another tale from the depths of obsession and transformation, a story of ambition twisted into horror. The relentless pursuit of perfection has driven many to greatness. But what if that same pursuit takes you beyond humanity itself? How far are you willing to go to achieve the ultimate form? To sculpt yourself into something beyond mortal limits? And more importantly, what would you become? This next story is called The Price of Perfection. So settle in, dim the lights, and prepare yourself, because the unknown does not wait. It beckons, it calls, and if you listen closely enough, you just might hear it whispering your name. Let's step into the darkness together. The gym was my sanctuary, my altar, my temple. The clank of weights, the rhythmic hum of machines, and the sharp scent of sweat. These were my hymns, my prayers. I built myself from the ground up, sculpting every inch of my body like a marble statue. But it wasn't enough. The mirror became both my inspiration and my curse. No matter how big I got, it whispered, more. One day I heard about a man named Victor. He wasn't a trainer or a coach, at least not in the traditional sense. He was a legend whispered in the shadows of bodybuilding forums. People said he could unlock limitless potential, whatever that meant. Desperation pushed me to find him. A single email led to a cryptic reply with an address. An abandoned warehouse on the outskirts of town. When I arrived, the place looked like it had been abandoned for years. Rusted chains hung from the ceiling, and the air was thick with mildew and decay. Victor greeted me. He was a wiry man with hollowed cheeks and eyes too sharp for comfort. He looked me over like a butcher sizing up a cut of meat. "You're dedicated," he said, his voice like gravel. "But dedication isn't enough. Are you willing to transcend?" I nodded, too eager to notice the cold sweat pooling at the small of my back. He led me to a chair in the center of the room, surrounded by machinery that looked like a fusion of medical equipment and torture devices. "This will hurt," he warned, strapping me down. I didn't care. Pain was part of the process, always had been. The procedure was unlike anything I'd ever imagined. Needles pierced my skin, injecting a viscerous, glowing fluid that burned like fire and ice. Electrodes sparked against my chest, and I could feel something shifting. No, growing inside me. My muscles swelled, stretching my skin until it felt like it might tear. The pain was unbearable, but I gritted my teeth, refusing to scream. When it was over, I stumbled to a cracked mirror propped up against the wall. My reflection was monstrous. Veins snaked across my bizarrely swollen arms and chest, and my skin had a sickly, almost translucent sheen. I should have been horrified, but all I felt was exhilaration. I was bigger than I ever dreamed. For weeks I reveled in my new strength. I could lift weights I'd never dared attempt before. My presence at the gym was godlike, intimidating and awe-inspiring. But soon whispers began. People avoided my gaze. Some outright refused to spot me, mumbling excuses about how I didn't look right. But then came the hunger. At first it was manageable. I ate triple my usual intake, then quadruple. But no matter how much I consumed, my body demanded more. My muscles ached, not from exhaustion, but from a gnawing, insatiable emptiness. One night, I woke up drenched in sweat, my stomach twisting in agony. My hands trembled as I stumbled to the kitchen, devouring everything in sight: raw meat, eggs, even a half-frozen chicken breast I didn't bother to thaw. But it wasn't enough. That's when I heard it, a faint rhythmic thumping like a heartbeat coming from the basement. I didn't remember leaving anything down there, but the sound was magnetic, drawing me closer. The basement was pitch black, the air damp and stifling. As I fumbled for the light switch, I caught a whiff of something rancid like rotting meat. When the bulb flickered to life, I saw it, a mass of flesh and sinew, pulsing in the corner, growing and shifting with every beat of its grotesque heart. It was me, or at least it had been. My face was embedded in the squirming mass, twisted in a permanent scream. Its arms were monstrous parodies of my own, then dripping with viscous fluid. Victor's words echoed in my mind. Are you willing to transcend? I fell to my knees retching, but my body wouldn't leave. The hunger roared louder than my fear, and before I realized what I was doing, I reached out and touched it. The moment my fingers made contact, the mass quivered, then surged towards me. Pain exploded in every nerve as it latched onto my arm, fusing with my skin. I tried to pull away, but it was no use. My own body betrayed me, welcoming the monstrosity like a long-lost friend. When I woke up, I was back in the chair at the warehouse, Victor standing over me with a satisfied grin. You've become perfect, he said. But I didn't feel perfect. My body was massive, unrecognizable, but I felt hollow, alien, as if something had taken root inside me. My reflection in the cracked mirror was no longer human. I got up, staggering out of the warehouse, my mind spinning. The world around me seemed off. Colors too bright, shadows too deep. Now I'm trapped in a body I no longer recognize, haunted by the thing inside me that whispers in the dark. Feed me. And so, dear listeners, we close another chapter of the Unknown Chronicles, a tale of the bodybuilder who got exactly what he wanted. A body that defied the limits of human potential. But in his obsession to perfect his body, he not only lost it, but also lost his soul in the process. Now he wanders the edges of our world, trapped in a grotesque shell, feeding a hunger that can never be satisfied, questioning if he's still the man he once was, or if he ever really existed at all. Perfection. Such a tempting illusion. It lures us in with promises of greatness, whispering that just one more step, one more sacrifice will bring us closer to something divine. But in the end, we must ask, does true perfection exist? Or is it simply the mask we wear as we descend into our own destruction? So as you turn out the lights tonight, remember, the pursuit of more can leave you with far less than you bargained for. Thank you for tuning in tonight. Until next time, And this has been Thorne Bloodrose, reminding you that the shadows are always watching, and they never blink. So keep your vision sharp and your reason sound. Good night, Bess. And stay tight, if you can.